Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel for today's video. So in today's video I wanted to show you ways you can decorate inside the Library of Lore we have got in Storybook Vale. Now, as some of you know from when we first got the Vale, we very quickly discovered that you can decorate in here, but it is quite difficult because of the low ceilings. You kind of can clip into walls pretty easily. It is a bit of a difficult build to do. However, I wanted to show you ways that I have decorated it to kind of give it a really nice lived-in look and obviously make it unique to myself, but without kind of doing too much or feeling like it's a bit overcrowded or it may affect future quests. Now, obviously keep in mind that that may be a possibility, so obviously if you're worried about quests and stuff like that, maybe hold off, but for now I wanted to give it a bit of decoration in all three sections and kind of wanted to keep it quite simple and show you guys what I did. So let's get started. So to start off with, we're starting in the main room where the Lorekeeper is, and I've decided to put two different seating areas on either side of the Lorekeeper, and I'm starting to kind of piece in the bigger furniture items that I wanted to use. I obviously crafted some of the couches and armchairs from the Vale itself to be the kind of main seating in these two sections, and also added in a lot of the other Vale craftables as well. There's not a huge amount of Scrooge store stuff in this build apart from like obviously books and bookshelves. A lot of it is kind of crafted from the Vale itself, so if you do have it, that would be a big help to you. Now, the other area in this section I wanted to work on and kind of tweak and change was Merida's area. Obviously when you start the Vale, you have this quest line where you have her tent and all her bits and bobs that you obviously have to use during the quest. However, I wanted to add some furniture to these and make them really feel like it is Merida's little area and kind of keep that there for her rather than covering it over, because I feel like it was an essential part of the quest and just fits really well in this room in general. Now, next to the Lorekeeper, I wanted to keep it quite simple, so I just added in some piles of books. These are from Scrooge's store, but I wanted to keep it quite simplistic around here just because I wanted to still be able to access the balcony below and also not block too much of the access up to the Lorekeeper, because obviously we do need to get up to there for quests and things like that, so I wanted to keep that quite simple. And then for the rest of the room, I added in some foliage, some trees, because you can actually fit trees in here, especially the small ones. They do obviously bring some of the ground with them, so you kind of have to cover that if you don't like the look of that, but that is something to note, you can bring those in. And then I created a little entranceway table underneath the stained glass window where I added some books and some lights and stuff like that. I just felt like it was a nice little thing to put in this little courtyard without blocking too much. In our original kind of teaser of the Vale, this window did change to like the Beauty and the Beast window, so I'm hoping that happens in Act 2 because I feel like that was meant to happen at some point. So this is hopefully ready to be kind of underneath that and making that look more grand and beautiful if it does happen. Now next after that, we're going to be working on the 2 different wings. So in this first one, we've already got some furniture. So we've got these little lounge chairs and the rug and things like that were just already in here. And then obviously we have got some furniture in these little alcove section. So I wanted to work with the furniture that's already in here and obviously make it look a bit more natural, fit in with the vibe of it. Now something I knew I wanted to include in this wing was a desk area. Now with the Vale, we have these really cute craftable desks and little pen pots. So I wanted to use these in here as well to fit with the academic vibe of the library. So I started working on how I could use some of the fence panels or bookshelves to decorate this area and how I could place the 2 different desks to make this cute little study area. Now something else I wanted to include in one of the little alcoves is I actually made a little bedroom setup. As we have the bed from Scrooge's store, if you don't have it yet, this is from Scrooge's, this gorgeous like book bed. I wanted to include it somewhere and I didn't want it to look weird by just having a random bed somewhere. So I decided to make one of these alcoves into like a little mini bedroom. So I added in the bed on an angle and then started adding in some furniture that kind of tied it all together and made it look really cozy and quaint in here. I added in some chairs for people to sit on, a little entranceway table, and also obviously more books and things like that to make this into a really cozy little kind of bedroom space. And once I'd done the bedroom space, I then went into the main area of this wing and started adding in some foliage as well as lots and lots of books. This is something I will say about this build. I added in a lot of books and I also added in some of the craftable fence panels to the exit to kind of break it up a little bit and just make it look a little bit different. I felt like this area was quite open and bland, so I added some fence panels in there. And then I started working on the other wing. Now something I knew I wanted to include in here was the craftable ping pong table. I absolutely love this and I wanted to include it somewhere, so this felt like the perfect spot as it was quite open and needed something big. As well as that, I started adding in some of the furniture I knew I wanted to include, such as the book couches that you can get from Scrooge's store in the Vale, and also some of the fence posts that I'd already crafted. So I started just dotting things around where I felt like they would work and kind of using all the furniture that I hadn't managed to put in the other wing or in the main room. So that was my plan here, to just kind of dot things about and make sure I could have these really cozy little seating spots in here, and also include some of the furniture that I hadn't managed to yet. And my finishing touch throughout the whole build was to start adding the final clutter items. Now, As this build has quite a lot of clutter, and obviously that mainly consists of books, I did want to include some other clutter items such as like barrels and crates and stuff like that, but I did really want to keep the focus on the books, so I did order a huge amount of books from Scrooge's store. Just so you know, all the books are from Scrooge's. There's one book pile that's Monsters Inc. From Scrooge's, and then there's the other book piles are Sword in the Stone from Scrooge's. So if you're wondering where they're from, that is where they're from. They're pretty easy to get hold of once Scrooge's store has them for you. And continuing on with final touches, I added in some foliage all around the build. I wanted to include some of the little glowing mushrooms that we get from the Vale, and also some other smaller furniture pieces that you actually can get in the crafting, that you can get in the foliage menu, such as the little book trees, the sunflower books. So these are classed as foliage, but they really do look like furniture, and these just fit perfectly up here. So here we will walk through the final builds. As you can see, when we come up to the library, the first thing we see is the entranceway tables. These are just really simple, but something I wanted to use to kind of bring you in. And then we have the 2 posts bringing you through, and as you can see from the view, everything is glowing really well. I've got lots of lights. This is our little kind of eclectic autumnal section where I use some of the stuff from the bundle from the premium shop, and also lots of foliage. And then on this side we have our Brave themed area to go with the bits and bobs that are already up here, and kind of just make them suit a bit better and not look as out of place. And as we head up towards the Lawkeeper and the Tapestry, we have got our 2 different seating areas on either side. These are pretty much completely symmetrical, but in alternating colours. I just really loved having something up here that just seemed quite fancy and structured to go with the Lawkeeper's theme. And then outside of that kind of open area, we have got lots of books and candles. Now, to lead you into the 2 entranceways to the different wings, we have got again a couple of those posts and some of the red rugs. These are actually from the Ultimate Edition, but you could definitely use some other rugs instead of these, but I just really like them to lead you in. And as we head into the first wing, we can straight away be greeted with lots of warm lighting, and we've got our little desk study space. I absolutely love how this turned out, and I love that it didn't cover too much of the walls behind. And then on the opposite side, we have got a bookshelf, and again, lots of books and foliage to kind of tie it all together. We've then got the existing seating area that was already here kind of built in, so I've just gone around it and decorated it a little bit more and elevated it slightly. And then we have got some more items on the other side before we have our little fence kind of area that we created. I feel like this just makes it look a little bit more structured in here and less open, so I've added in some books into those little alcoves. I've left this one pretty blank because it was for a quest, so just in case we ever need that again. And then the other side, we have got our bedroom setup, which I absolutely love in here. I feel like it's just such a random thing to put in here, but it actually worked really well, and I'm enjoying how it looks. Heading out there, we are obviously going to head back down towards the other wing, but obviously the final touches in this side is lots of the mushrooms. Now, as you can see, these light up during sunset and nighttime, so it's a really good tip if you don't want to use too many actual lights. The mushrooms actually do that as well, so it kind of works out in that sense. But as we head into the other wing, we can straight away see again a similar theme, but we've got some more down the kind of middle bit that was already here. We've got a little desk in the corner just as a simple little spot to tuck in here, and then we have got the ping pong table in the middle, and then we've got the book couches as a nice little seating spot in this area. The ping pong table is definitely the grand central thing in this build. There's quite a lot of craftable stuff that's pretty big, so I feel like you could definitely utilize them up here in the library. We've then got some other little clutter items just to kind of fill these little corners and give it a little bit of a kind of personality to it. And I wanted to include a lot of seating in this build in general because it's a library, so it makes sense for there to be a lot of seating. The only thing I didn't include that I feel like definitely could work up here would be an actual like big table that you could sit at that you tend to get at a library, but I decided in this little alcove to put a piano and some more books and decoration around these existing couches. So here are some shots of the final build. I hope you guys enjoyed and it did give you some inspiration of how to decorate the library. Obviously there's a million things you could do up here, and there's definitely things that I didn't do that I probably could have. For example, I could have done like a big grand table for people to sit at in the library. I think that would definitely be a good alternative. But if you guys have decorated up here, let me know down below what you did to decorate, and if you had any ideas of what you think you might decorate up here. This is just what I went for. I wanted to keep it quite open and kind of keep the central points open, just because I am conscious of obviously characters walking around in here, and the potential for quests in the future. Obviously when it does get towards Act 2 later in the year, I'll probably tweak things a little bit just in case there are quests, because we know that sometimes that can cause a bit of an issue about things we have placed. But for now, I'm really loving how it looks. I feel like it looks so cozy and it just makes it have a lot more personality and character and really fits with my kind of vibe. Let me know down below what you guys thought of the build. Did you enjoy it and did it give you some inspiration for how to decorate up here in the library? Obviously you could put whatever you want up here. You can even fit houses up here, so if you really wanted to decorate it with houses in the main area, you definitely could. But I just wanted to keep it quite simple and quite cozy and quaint. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you leave a like on the video, it helps me out so much. And if you're not yet subscribed, please do subscribe. There's a huge percentage of you who watch my videos who are still not subscribed, so if not, please do. That really helps me out so much, and I very much appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!